Scuba Nation, settle in as we explore the diving in Fort Lauderdale, Pompano, and Deerfield Beach, Florida. The folks here just don't settle for ordinary diving. No. They need things like plenty of cucarachas, professional lobster hunters, world records, decorating wrecks, and underwater poker tournaments. I did mention lobsters, right? Time to check out the amazing diving at Lauderdale Under the Sea, next on Scuba Nation.
Who is Scuba Nation? Billy C., Boston born and raised.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Bitch and Mitch, Southern boy. And every other diver on the planet. So join us as we travel the globe exploring Mother Ocean. Welcome to Scuba Nation. One nation underwater. Presented by Leisure Pro. Visit leisurepro.com for all your diving and snorkeling needs.
Hey, we've been diving in Fort Lauderdale for many years, filming a lot of episodes of Scuba Nation up here in 954 country. But you know what's great about it? The dive shops, the dive clubs, the municipalities, everyone here has this enthusiasm and this imagination when it comes to scuba diving. Pavan from Dixie Divers, Jeff T. Road from South Florida Diving Headquarters, they're marketing geniuses. They come up with these whimsical, quirky ways to put scuba diving on the front page of the newspapers, the top story on the evening news. You know, we've had underwater poker tournaments, we've had artwork combined with shipwrecks to sink as artificial reefs. We broke a Guinness Book of World Records with scuba divers holding hands underwater. And these guys come up with these ideas to galvanize the scuba diving community and get people to come to these events in mass numbers. Specifically breaking the record underwater, they had to get 400 scuba divers to hold hands around the Deerfield Beach Pier in like this heart shape, and they did it. He was able to mobilize the South Florida diving community to come together to break this record, and it was just a magnificent day, you know, of diving, and they did a pier cleanup.
With a little bit of publicity, he had over 200 divers here, and we did a half moon circle around the pier, at the end of the pier. How cool is that, to do a world record attempt for the continuous amount of divers? It was very good. Yeah, we had to hold our hands, and we all got a number assigned. This year coming, he's going to try to do it again. So I think we're looking forward to an annual event, I really do, as part of the pier cleanup. Because, you know, fishing piers get a lot of monofilm, sinkers.
So they had a beach cleanup, they broke a world record all in a single day. So Fort Lauderdale, it's also a mecca for lobstering. It's home to the biggest event in the state for mini-season, Bugfest. We've covered it on the show in the past. We actually won a couple cooking competitions during Bugfest. And it's in Lauderdale by the Sea, Scuba Nation's home away from home.
And that gets a Mitch, 2 snaps, and a
The county is also home to one of the most prolific lobster hunters around, our man Chiefy. You know what? He's here to explain the art of the hunt.
Chiefy, I got that name from diving with a bunch of buddies. I've been here over 40 years. I've been diving for probably 35 of those 40 years. And primarily right here in Deerfield. It's beautiful location. Our reefs are very, very close. Literally, I can take you 400 feet off of this white sandy beach, which is absolutely beautiful, by the way, and you can be on reef. Nobody has that. and it's teeming with marine life, then that's the first reef. Then you get into the second reef, which is like in 40 feet of water. So your beginner divers, perfect location for here. And then we have the third reef. Beautiful, beautiful walls, 50 foot at the top, 65 foot at the bottom. Outstanding view, less than a mile off this white sandy beach. I'll take you to one of my secret spots here, you know, not far from here, that in 8 or 10 feet of water is loaded with spiny lobster. So I've written 2 books, Catching the Bug, which is now in its 2nd edition, and I wrote Catching the Spear It.
Spinner the underwater camera is Deerfield Beach's hottest celebrity. Once the city installed the camera, the world has been able to watch the incredible underwater life at the Deerfield Beach Pier.
And it gets a ton of views. So you really get a great, view as to what's going on in the water, under the water, and on top of the water. But then we have some other kind of little things. The barefoot mailman statue. Now that has some history to it. It was commissioned by Hillsborough Beach. Was in really disrepair. They made bronze replicas of it, and then Dixie divers through Pavon, they actually repaired it, and then they put it off on this little patch reef we call Separated Rocks in about 40 feet of water. Loaded with marine life, loaded with lobster. That might be a good spot for you guys. That's incredible right there, and really good, pristine reefs. Dive it all.
More from Lauderdale Under the Sea coming up next. Shop Leisure Pro for all your diving and snorkeling needs. We make it easy to shop for the products you want with our product categories and navigation. Shop our weekly specials on our easy-to-use product pages. Chat with our experts and read product reviews to make sure the product you want is the product you're looking for. Our outstanding customer service is only a click away. So shop LeisurePro.com with the best price match guarantee and get the products you want fast.
Hello, welcome to the Best Western Plus. I'm checking in and I'm a rewards member. Wow, that was rewarding.
With points that never expire, get a free night fast at over 4,200 hotels worldwide and get a $20 Best Western gift card after your first stay. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Tucked away in North Florida, close enough to the border to watch the peaches grow, is a treasure waiting to be discovered. Perhaps you've heard of the river that inspired our state song. We're Suwannee County, where taking it fast or slow is always the right tempo. Sometimes it's about what lies below the surface. Visit Suwannee County, Florida, and discover the nature of things.
Scuba Nation, are you ready for 5 days of full exploration where luxury is always included? Then head to Beaches, Turks and Caicos on September 21st through the 25th for Dive In with Patty, an adventure for real ocean dwellers. Night dives, private charters, sea life underwater photography workshops, and much more. Add the ultimate diving trip to your stay for only $450 per person. Book now through 1-800-BEACHES or beaches.com. Welcome back, everybody. We're at Lauderdale Under the Sea.
One thing Scuba Nation has really excelled at is capturing the moment a vessel is purposely sunk to the bottom of the ocean to be an artificial reef for fish and for scuba divers. In Broward County and Fort Lauderdale, they have been very active in sinking new ships.
To have another wreck in the 70-foot range, we've been needing one that's close to the inlet for a long time. We sunk the Lady Luck, and a lot of the shipwrecks in Shipwreck Park are, anywhere from 90 to 130 feet deep. So it's nice to have another shallower wreck inside Shipwreck Park that's so close to the inlet. It's going to be great for, novice divers that can dive it. You can almost see it from the surface on a clear day. You can almost even snorkel it.
With the Okinawa, they commissioned Mr. McDonald, an artist, a local artist, to actually put together artwork with the artificial reef. There's a mermaid, there's moray eels, there's this crystal ball that you look into, and it's just another creative way to create buzz in the diving community.
All right, this Saturday, we have the sinking of the Okinawa. It's gonna sit right by the Lady Luck. So South Florida divers all around the world are gonna have another little toy to play with.
Artie! Artie, get the out of there! Come on, man!
The Okinawa, we sank it back last year in August. It's a tug. She's 107 feet long, 26 feet wide. She's extremely heavy. She was built in 1953. And back then the Navy used a lot of metal in a lot of the ships. So what you're going to see is like an armor-plated tugboat.
We got real good at sinking these things, right? We got real good at capturing the moment. And what was critical for Scuba Nation was finding the best places to put our cameras, so as the ship is plunging down to the sea floor, we get those before and after photos as the wreck is, just kind of like plunging down and the water's coming through, the doors coming through, the windows. And for us, it's real exciting to film these things.
We had a little plan to put a camera on the bottom. It's never been done before, to get the visual of the ship coming down at the camera and a whole different angle of a sinking. We went down to put the camera down on the bottom, and we put a dive flag on it. Of course, we get back up, think everything's going to go great, except for the fact we discounted the fact that she had an anchor chain on her, and the anchor chain was pulling her towards the flag. So as we sat there and watched, here comes the boat closer and closer and closer to the dive flag. And we're like, all of a sudden the boat rolls over the dive flag, and we're going, oh, well, there goes the GoPro. So we all get in the water, get ready to make the first dive on the Okinawa, and come to find out the GoPro, it went completely over the top of the GoPro. It landed on the eastern side of the GoPro, and the GoPro was still intact. So we got probably one of the best shots ever of a wreck sinking. Everybody's seen the aerial views and all that, but nobody's ever seen it from the other direction. So we were really happy with that. Thanks to Mitch. I think it was my idea though. Obviously we like to give back to our sponsors and our donors, and we put plaques on the wreck, but I asked for my plaque to be in honor of my wife's grandfather, George Dennis, who died earlier in 2015, because George was one of the aerial gunners and also a photographer for the Navy, and he actually filmed the atom bomb when they dropped it on Hiroshima. My first dive was in Okinawa. First snorkeling experience and first dive was actually in Okinawa on a double hose regulator. I'm dating myself a little bit there, but I caught the bug, and when I came back to the United States, that's when I began my diving career once I moved back home. But I always will think about Okinawa. And we plan on building this area out a little bit more. The Okinawa is not the end piece, it's going to be the centerpiece in this area. We're going to add more structure and more biodiversity to the area to create obviously more attractions for fish and more attractions for divers.
When you learn to dive in the Florida Keys, you'll encounter a 2,800 square mile national marine sanctuary filled with thousands of species of marine life. As you continue your education, you'll discover wrecks and environments beyond your imagination. Because here, you can get as deep into diving as your curiosity takes you. The Florida Keys and Key West.
Tune into the Palm Beaches TV and watch at thepalmbeaches.tv.
Back to Lauderdale Under the Sea. Poker, anyone?
As always, we like to give back to our sponsors because without them, we don't have an artificial reef program. The Isles Casino was a huge sponsor, along with the city of Pompano Beach, for the Lady Luck when we sank it. So we thought in every year, in commemoration of that, we'd have an underwater poker tournament. Now, people might think that's an easy thing to pull off, but it takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of strategy, and a lot of like herding cats, so to speak. The first year we did it, we did a practice run with the crew, and we learned a lot from the first time we did it. Obviously, we needed special cards for it. We needed something to weight the cards down that the dealer had, and we also needed regular poker chips, which was donated to us by the Isles Casino. They weren't regular poker chips, but they were built for the Lady Luck. So the first year we did it, it was a very strong current on the bottom, and we got everybody down on the bottom, and then once we got on the table, it actually seemed like the current stopped once we got on the table and we were in the lee, and it went off fantastic. We had 6 players that were the finalists from the online poker tournament, and then they were awarded a free trip on the wreck itself to participate in the first annual Lady Luck Underwater Poker Tournament. Our winner happened to be Jessica Beebe, but she had a little edge. She had done some dealing at the Hard Rock Casino. She had worked there part-time over the years, so Jessica knew a little bit about poker. However, it was a very close game, and it came down to the very end, and then Jessica was victorious, and we crowned her as our first Lady Luck Underwater Poker Champion. To get involved with the poker tournament every year, just go to our events page on our website, southfloridadiving.com. Go to the events, the Underwater Poker Tournament. You can read all about it, how to get involved. We do an online tournament ahead of time, and then the 6 finalists from the online tournament will get to play for the championship every year. At South Florida Diving, we don't just do diving. We do a lot of things. Diving is an adventure, but it's also topside activities. It's also a lot of things. We just got through with our Bug Fest this year with the city of Lauderdale by the Sea. Great event. We had 127 divers competing. And then we had a great cook-off downtown at Lauderdale by the Sea. And coming up August 25th, we're going to do a lionfish tournament with Shipwreck Park and Sample McDougal House. Sample McDougal House is an historic house that's out here in Pompano Beach near our blimp hangar. And they're going to hold a big event at night. In the morning, we're going to do the lionfish tournament. And then we're going to announce the winners at Sample McDougal House. And we're going to have a big lionfish tasting, wine tasting, raffles, all sorts of things, live music. So it's going to be a great event. If you want to get involved with that, just check out the lionfish event on southfloridadiving.com.
So there's this dive site off of Dania Beach called Aerojacks. Back in the 90s, they took these construction dolos, which is cement, right? And they're in the form of jacks, like the game Jacks. So they call it Eurojacks. They're cement structures in the shape of those jacks, and they put all of them together to create this reef structure, artificial reef structure. It's 1,500 feet long. It's about a half a mile up from the Dania Beach Pier, and it's a beach dive. So you walk up on the beach, you get to the spot, it's designated right on the beach where the Aerojacks will be. You swim off about 400 or 500 yards out into the ocean, and there it is. There it is, 1,500 feet of cement structure that look like the playing jacks. And because it was down since the 1990s, it has attracted so much sea life. There's conch, there's porcupine fish everywhere, there's nurse sharks. It's the first place people go during lobster mini season. That thing gets destroyed about 12:15 a.m. on the first night of mini season. The lobster there are just eviscerated. And it's a great dive because it's shallow, it's great for snorkelers, and as you traverse this 1,500 foot long artificial reef structure, it buttresses a reef at the end. So you go one way, you enjoy the reef, and then you come back the other way, you turn around, do a U-turn, and you head back towards the beach. And you get about an hour and a half bottom time because it's so shallow, and you have a fantastic beach dive right here in Fort Lauderdale.
You know, it's great diving in the 954 because Mitch and Billy mainly stay in the 305. Nah, just kidding. We love it when those guys come up because it's always a great dive and a great party, to be honest with you. Like I said before, diving is not just diving. Diving is a whole attitude, and divers have that. They have the fun attitude, the adventure attitude. You can't have any more fun than diving in the 954. Actually, Mitch and I from Scuba Nation, who we go way back, we're OP guys, we're Raiders from Orange Park, not the same year. I graduated, I'm not sure Mitch did, but you know, that's a whole nother episode.
No, 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 no! Sugar, no, no, no! 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 Sugar! God!
Doxa dive watches have remained the foremost choice of ocean explorers and conservationists around the world. Today, Doxa dive watches still share the premium Swiss-made quality, legendary durability, and all the standards set by Doxa dive watches pioneered in 1967. Begin your Doxa journey at DoxaWatches.com. Dive into the History of Diving Museum in Islamorada, Florida. Be amazed by the international story of man's quest to explore under the sea. Fantastic fun for the entire family. From December through June, enjoy a limited-time beachery exhibit showcasing underwater habitats and participate in the Silver Bar Splash. The museum is located at mile marker 83 in Islamorada, Florida, and is open daily from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Discover more at divingmuseum.org. Have you ever thought about being a treasure hunter? The search for treasure continues. Join the Mel Fisher crew as they search for the remaining treasure of the Atocha shipwreck with an estimated worth of $300 million. And now the Mel Fisher team is going for more gold. The Lost Merchant is the latest wreck with cargo that could be even more valuable than the Atochas. Visit melfisher.com to find out how to claim your piece of the treasure. Today's the day.
Hello, welcome to the Best Western Plus. I'm checking in, and I'm a rewards member. Wow, that was rewarding.
With points that never expire, get a free night fast at over 4,200 hotels worldwide and get a $20 Best Western gift card after your first stay. Book now at bestwestern.com.